What's up? Good evening. From the Bronx, New York City, it's the War on Reality Report. It is the Gorilla Underground. Welcome. For all of you who have never been here before, thank you. We appreciate you. And all of the repeat offenders, all the cool kids in the corner, all the people in the know with the they live glasses on, what's going on? Welcome to the Resistance. Man, shit is getting real. It's gotten real. It's been real, but it's getting realer, I guess, as time goes on. Angry Tiger's going to join me in a sec or in a few. Tony might hop in. Iran is playing economic warfare now. And you know what? We invited this shit, right? And while they may not be able to beat us militarily, which, you know, depending on what you believe, depending on what bubble you're currently in, who knows if even that statement is true, right? They may be whipping up on the United States in some fronts. You know, this is the most incompetent regime in the history of our country. So they could mismanage the greatest military of all time. Yes, it's very possible. But forget all that. Iran has figured out that their biggest weapon is the economic one, and man, some blockbuster news that if true, and I suspect that it is, it's another nail in the coffin of American economic dominance over the world. This was on its way down before Trump took office. Okay? It was on its way down before Biden took office. It was on its way down before Trump took office the first time. Although things were looking up economically a little bit under Obama, and it carried over under Trump until the pandemic hit, and then all hell broke loose, right? But that doesn't matter. We are an empire in decline. And when the United States started using the dollar as a weapon, that spelt the end. It was the end already. George W. Bush did it during 9/11. Joe Biden did it very recently against Russia. This is not good, right? So it's not a good tactic, especially in the vulnerable position that we find ourselves in economically. Although they would tell us different, but we know the deal. We're seeing it manifest right now. And of course, there's been the uprising of BRICS, right? The BRICS nations coming together to forge a new path, something different, an alternative to the dollar, right? And while all that stuff was happening, the United States was still the clear dominant force militarily, economically. It was the leader of the world. We were on our way down, but we were still the top dog. It's like the alpha male king in his 60s, right? He's in his 60s, but he's still a beast. You know, he's still the man. He's still super respected. He still has some power left, right? He can still get around. He can still run. He's not the same guy, not the guy that he used to be, but he still has some of that, some juice left in the tank. That's what the United States was. When Donald Trump got elected this second time around, and I refused to believe that the American public was as stupid as it is to allow this rapist, this pedophile, this freaking grifter, this liar, this swamp-dwelling reptilian piece of crap back into the White House. But hey, what do I know? Apparently, I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. And he's here now. And when he took office in January, I said on America Unplugged, what this is going to... what's going to happen here is he's going to strap a rocket onto the decline of the United States, because this guy has no idea, no earthly clue what he is doing. And neither do all these buffoons that surround him. And of course, we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now. We've come to the point that the emperor has no clothes and everybody has eyes to see. It's like, yo, damn, that dude is naked. Hey, yo, put some clothes on. We don't want to see that. And we're throwing tomatoes. At least some of us are. But everybody's going to join in very soon and throwing the tomatoes. Be like, yo, so what's this about? You know? But in January, and not of this year, but of last, when he took office, said this guy's going to strap a rocket onto the decline of the United States around the world. I'm going to play a clip, and I'm going to play it again when Tiger gets here. I'm going to play it again if Tony decides to jump in, because I need them to see this, you know, so they can give some context. I'm sure I'm going to throw it over to Guard Goldsmith, so he can talk about it during his show. This is no joke. And the thing is, I wasn't expecting to do a show based on this today. It was going to be more, a flow of thoughts. I was going to get in here and just rant for an hour and go home, you know, but it might be longer than that at this point. There might be more than an hour here, given that I have guests and recent developments. I also want to speak about not only the decline of the United States, but the obvious decline and implosion of MAGA. And there are some people that think that this would have been the same under Kamala Harris. I got news for you guys. No. This is way different. This is way worse. Listen, don't get me wrong. Under Kamala Harris, you would have still had the technocracy. It may not have been as entrenched in government as it is right now, but it was still coming, right? They were still going to open the doors for that. Biden did a hell of a job at funding the disaster over in Gaza. You know, so there's a lot of blame there. But what Donald Trump has done is elevated it 100 times. You know, so it's like, pick your poison here. Some people seem to think that because the Democrats, you know, they're awful. They are. There's a lot of ineptness there, but this is two different things, in my opinion. You know what the Democratic Party has to offer, and I haven't voted in forever in a presidential election, right? Because of the war issue in particular, I didn't want to lend my vote or give my vote. You're not lending anything, right? I didn't want to give my vote to people that were going to use that power in order to kill people overseas for a foreign government. That's out. I didn't want to have anything to do with that. But what Donald Trump has done now is it's like euthanasia. It's like expedited our death. It's like, let me stand. We were in a highway, but off to the side. You know, we were standing on the sidewalk in a highway, getting ready to cross to the other side. We're probably going to get hit by a car. Right now, we're standing dead in the middle of the freaking highway. Like, here we are. Please hit me. And there's a tractor trailer coming straight at us. And we refuse to move out of the way because the guy's a freaking narcissist buffoon. And this administration is a narcissistic administration. What's going on here? So let me play this for you guys. What's up to my people in Rumble? I think I'm streaming in Rumble right now, which is dope. I think I'm streaming in Rumble. I've never streamed on Rumble before, and I think I set it up. Let me go to Rumble and hit play here on my end and see what's going on to everybody at the America Unplugged channel. Am I playing there? Seems to be. Yes, I am. I'm looking at myself at Rumble. There's the dude, Billy the Kid. All right, cool. All right. So let me play this clip. Let me find it first. And let's talk about what Iran is currently threatening to do. I think they're going to do it. Here comes, who's this? Here's Angry Tiger. Tiger, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, Billy?
How are you?
People out there? I'm all right, man. How are you?
Welcome to Gorilla Underground. Dude, I don't know if you're aware of this. I found out about this right after you and I texted about coming on the show. So it kind of worked out because this is kind of your area. So I'm walking home because I was, when you texted me, I was on my way home. You know, just it's a nice day out here in the Bronx, man. I got a smoothie, and I was walking back from visiting my stepfather. I'm like, let me go home and chill out and have a nice walk, take it easy. And you texted me. I'm like, all right, man, Tiger's coming on, fantastic. And then I saw this piece of news, and I'm like, holy crap, this expedites everything. This changes everything. It's a big deal to me. I don't know if I am exaggerating. I don't know if I'm overdoing it. I don't know if I think it's just because I think it's as big a deal as I think it is doesn't mean that it actually is. I don't know. I need your thoughts. I need Gard Goldsmith thoughts. I need Tony Arterburn's thoughts on this. I need thoughts, okay, for what's going down here. But I was talking, I gave a little bit of a background to this before I played this clip, and I have tons of clips to play, not necessarily related to this, but everything is connected here on what we're going to cover tonight. But when Donald Trump took over as president of the United States for this second term, I said on America Unplugged that it's going to strap a rocket ship on the decline of America economically as an economic power. I'd said this so many times. And of course, people still in the alt media, you know, are just like, well, at least it's not Kamala Harris. At least it's not whatever. Like, I don't understand. We are falling apart. And they're like, well, it would have been the same thing or worse if they, no, this is completely different. This war on Iran, okay, has sparked so many different things. I mean, it was already a disaster, but this him going in there for no apparent reason and his refusal to pull out has become a problem, and Iran has decided to retaliate economically, bro. And this is a big deal. This is bigger than weapons, right? I mean, they were afraid of Iran dropping a nuke or getting a nuke. This is an economic nuke, in my opinion. Let me play this for everyone, and I have to verify this. But this is the only clip I got right now because I was on my way home when I saw it. So let me play this. Pay attention. Tell me what you think. Everybody in the chat, pay attention. All right.
Reportedly considering requiring ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz to use Chinese yuan instead of the US dollar. That's according to a senior Iranian official who spoke with CNN. But this move is described as a form of economic warfare aimed at bypassing the U.S. financial system. This proposal is a direct challenge to the petrodollar system, which has seen almost all global oil traded in U.S. dollars since 1974. If major importers like Japan, South Korea, and India are forced to hold yuan reserves instead of dollars to secure energy, global demand for the U.S. dollar will shrink. This would likely result in higher interest rates and increased borrowing costs for the U.S. government, complicating the management of our already horrible national debt. This would also significantly impact the U.S.'s geopolitical power because a transition to yuan would permanently weaken the ability of the U.S. to impose impactful sanctions. According to an Iran analyst, this could cost the United States $3 trillion per year while significantly weakening the U.S. dollar. But as all of this is taking place, don't worry. Donald Trump is in Florida right now playing golf. Iran is...
Dude, this is a problem, bro. This is a problem. And people want to say, you know, it would have been the same under Kamala Harris. How the hell can you justify that statement, given that they are? This wouldn't have even been a conversation. It would have been a conversation amongst us here. We're talking about that eventually this will happen because it was going to happen regardless, right? But I mean, it happened now. They are phasing, and this wouldn't have happened even with this administration if the dumbass didn't go into Iran, you know. But he has forced their hand here. They're transitioning out of the dollar. We are the ones in the weak position here, long term, and now it's here. It didn't have to be, but it is now. This is going to impact every single American, even the ones that don't live in big cities, right? Because the false flags with the bombs and everything else that they were going to do here, was the most likely it was the big cities, right? Well, now it's going to hit your pockets, every single one of us, and there goes American dominance. Done. I don't want to say this is checkmate, but damn it, this is close if they pull something like this off. So when I saw this, I was like, man, what have we done? What have we done here? By letting this guy, this clearly the most incompetent president in the history of the planet, in the history of the nation, the dumbest president in the history of the nation, the most disliked president in the history of the nation at this point in time. These are big problems here. Okay, this is real. This isn't conspiracy theory. We're not talking about Benjamin Netanyahu being dead and having 6 fingers. Okay.
That drives me crazy right now. Listen to what the guy's saying, and don't worry about whether he's dead or not.
Shit. So here we are, Tiger. I don't know if you were familiar with this story prior.
I was.
Give me your thoughts.
Well, you said a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. So number one, you called it, and I called it too, and a lot of other people did. Trump is an economic wrecking ball. Yeah. Right. I think mine and you's our perspective on how this happens is a little bit different. I don't think Kamala Harris was ever going to be president. I don't think that. I don't think we vote our presidents in. I know we differ in that opinion, but
that's not even the point. Tiger,
the reason I say this, dude, is because it's not just this. So I look at the economy and I look at what people are doing. I look at our debt market, right? Mm-hmm. Who holds our treasury bonds? That's the keys to the kingdom. You watch that. China's on a sell-off program where they sell so many of our bonds off per month. Okay. Russia's always going to sell them off when we're messing around with Russia. All right. You have that manipulation going on. The BRICS nations want to get rid of the petrodollar. We know that. That's just the way things are going. The empire here that we have is declining. Trump comes in. He's perfect. The perfect scumbag to do this economic wrecking ball thing. Not only that, we got the Epstein files. Now we have an Iran war. We got Bibi Netanyahu running around talking about everybody needs to get into World War III with us, and if that's what it takes to protect Israel. Then you have Trump, the administration dealing with this Iran thing, watching them act and do things from a position of weakness, reaction. First, we're going to have a fleet. Okay. Now we're not going to have a fleet. Then we're going to have a fleet. And now we're not going to have a fleet again. No, but they're not set. We're going to have a fleet, but nobody's sending any boats. And we're looking like clowns more and more. But this, dude, affects credibility. Not only credibility like with world leaders and stuff, but in the financial markets. Right. And now you have Iran. If Iran is able to pull off being able to, if you want to buy into their 20% of the oil supply of the world, that goes through those Straits of Hormuz, you need to use yen. If they pull that off, that's just another blow. And like you just said, dude, inflation will skyrocket here because money seeks yield. Okay, all the money that all these treasury bonds, all this stuff that goes everywhere, that's all over the world, all our dollars, when people don't hold those anymore in other countries, it's going to seek yield. Where's it going to seek yield at? Back here, it's going to self-appropriate. Okay, what that's going to do to our economy will cause hyperinflation. All right. What's up, hombre? Yeah, I know. So that's going to cause hyperinflation. That money's going to be here. And what's going on? See, while they're doing this, while our debt is under a constant onslaught from the BRICS nations, dumping, manipulating, just like we do with stuff. Okay. All right. It's a constant onslaught. I watched the 10. I can't give you hard evidence that the Treasury and the Fed buy our debt. Okay, when the 10-year yield starts going up and the bond market starts rising. Okay, because if the bond, everything, dude, is the debt market, and these people know this. There's no way to fix it. So if Iran pulls this off, do you know how much debt they're going to have to buy? Interest rates will soar, but they might not. They might go to quantitative easing, but It's just yeah, dude, will change everything. It will be over. People aren't ready for this. And people, I'll tell you what, Billy, I talk to people. I listen when I'm in line at the store. I'm a very outgoing person, even though I claim not to like people, but I'm an outgoing person, dude. I like interacting with people. If I like them, I like them. I don't. But people aren't happy right now across the board, dude. They're feeling it in their wallet already. And I live in a fairly middle class and upper middle class, and we have poor, so it's kind of mixed, a gambit community.
Yeah.
So,
Guard Goldsmith, I see you in the chat. I dropped a link in the chat if you want to jump on. I know you're probably busy, but just letting you know if you want to jump on, the link is there for you. I'd love your thoughts on all of this nonsense. If not, I'll wait for it for tomorrow. I'll tune in at some point. Or if I can't catch it live, I'll go back and listen. But this is a big deal. Yeah, we knew it was going to happen. Yes, we saw this coming, but this soon, it didn't have to happen this soon. It didn't have to. And this would have bought us time to be able to prepare, to be able to, set things up, get ready, get our houses in order, and get ready to brace ourselves for what's coming. And if not even us, if it didn't happen in our lifetime, our kids, the next generation, try to hook. But now,
are we mentally ready for this, Billy? Everybody out there. No, I agree with you. I can't believe what's going on right now.
Right.
I cannot believe what's going on right now, dude. The preface of World War III. We've got so much crap going on that none of us are ready for this.
No.
Not this fast.
No. And we saw this coming, and I'm not ready for it. How the hell am I? This isn't good. None of this is good. And it shocked me to hear that report, although we should have seen it coming. And Donald Trump can easily stop this. I mean, still there's damage upon damage upon damage we're going to feel as a result of this dumbass going into Iran because they told him to. But at least pull out now, get out now, and limit the amount of damage that we're gonna feel that's gonna happen here. But no, he's not gonna do that. He's threatening to flatten Iran now. He says, that he's going to destroy, power plants now. He says, we're going to destroy the biggest power plant. Talking big talk, big tough talk. The thing is, they're calling him on it. The Iranians are like, okay, let's go. Because they're tired of being suckered around. They're tired of being pushed around, bro. And here we go. Hopefully this doesn't turn into World War III, man, but the economic decline of the United States just went into hyperdrive right now.
That's what scares me because the blood and guts of probably billions of people at this point have been spilled to keep this empire going. Billy, I got a question. Actually, me and Angus have been asking me, Angus Mustang, big shout out to him.
What's up, Angus?
We've been going back and forth on this, dude. My biggest worry right now is that he nukes them. Do you think you think that's possible, dude? Is that in the cards?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't like that answer.
I don't like it. I mean, I don't know if it's likely, but is it possible? Absolutely. This guy is a freaking dumbass, bro. This guy is the mental decline that we're looking at right now. This is worse than anything that Joe Biden showed. I can't believe what I'm watching. Joe Biden was bad. It was bad. Okay, it was really bad. This is way worse, and it's getting the whole world involved. He's not just bringing down the Democratic Party; he's bringing down the world. Right? Biden brought down the Democrats. That's it. That's it. Trump is on another level, losing his mind. Not that he had much to lose. He was already a crazy individual, but now it's worse and worse. Every day he says something more unhinged and more unhinged. He's like, I'm going to destroy Iran. He just said this just like today. I'm going to destroy all of Iran. It's going to be obliterated, is what he said. And he's like, good. And then he says, oh, we're going to take Cuba. I'm going to have the honor. It's going to be my honor to take Cuba. And then they were like, what do you mean take Cuba? We're going to take it. We're going to free it. We're going to take it. I could do whatever I want with it. I could do whatever I want with a sovereign country.
Well, he's starving them right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, the United States has been starving them for some time, regime after regime, administration after administration. But anyway, go ahead. I got you.
They have up right now, Billy's, and what's going on with their power. I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to obliterate Iran. So a world leader went up and told another country and its citizens, the human beings that live there, that I'm going to murder you all. I'm going to obliterate you and your homeland. I'm just going to destroy everything.
Right.
This is what he said.
Yes.
And you watch the propaganda terrorist movies, or watch Fox News, or on the right, or even in the mainstream media, right? You have the madman terrorists saying things like that. That would be like the villain of a movie kind of thing. And here we are in this day and age talking like this in public on a world stage.
Right. Oh man, it's craziness. So here we go. Let's see what develops. Guard Goldsmith is coming on in a bit, he said. So we're gonna get his opinion on this. But yeah. So very scary times. The buffoon in chief has decided that he's going to further plunge the United States into the depths of hell. So let's get ready for that. But on the bright side, there are people. It sucks that it took this long. But there are people that are coming around, and more like reporters are pushing back on this buffoon. You saw Joe Kent quit, although I can't stand him, but still, whatever, I support it. I'll take it. He quit, and left the administration. As Marjorie Taylor Greene has done it. Thomas Massey has pushed back, but people on the streets are also reacting, and you see it more and more on social media. They're like, I am sorry that I voted for this piece of crap. I didn't. And you see, of course, Nick Fuentes. I'm going to play some Nick Fuentes today because although he has some reprehensible views, he's making a whole lot of sense on Donald Trump lately, and the way he's come out against Donald Trump. And of course, Joe Rogan has backpedaled, and all the podcast bros have backpedaled. Alex Jones is on thin ice, but he's always been on thin ice. So I don't even count his punk ass. But
he sent his son out there to tell everybody Trump is the great deceiver now.
What a disgusting individual. Oh my God, that's another one. Candace Owens is out there telling her people that she can't stand Donald Trump. All of this matters. All of it matters. So this is my favorite clip of the week, and I wanted to play it for you guys. What just happened? Hold on for a second. Yeah, here we go. Check this out. This is great. Love it.
More woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Let's
play one more time.
Listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
God bless. From Pennsylvania, swing state. He needs Pennsylvania. He needs states like this. I mean, the MAGA does. Donald Trump isn't qualified to run again. He's going to try. I don't know how. I don't think he's going to pull it off, but he's definitely going to try. He's going to try to stay in power at the very least. But these are swing states. These are people in swing states saying, you know what, screw you, motherfucker. You absolutely suck, and you lied to us. And I love it because some of us have been saying this for a long time. To our expense, because people would get upset. I get less and less of that now, which is beautiful. People are less upset at what I have to say. Instead, they'll listen. May not necessarily agree, but they're still listening. Instead of getting pissed at me, getting accused of a Trump derangement syndrome. That's fading. If you're using that at this point, bro, you're intellectually handicapped. If you're using the Trump derangement syndrome argument, guy is an alleged pedophile, bro. He's all over the Epstein files. And that's another thing. That's bubbling up on the side. That's not going away.
Billy, bare minimum. Okay, this is what I don't understand. The conservatives, all these Republicans that do support Trump. And with this being said, I am sick of the lesser of two evils. Now, evil is evil. When you die, okay, you're going to tell God, I voted for the lesser of two. Well, this guy killed millions of kids. This person was going to turn boys into girls. I had to rationalize this somehow, even though both of them are evil. I went along with this evil. That is no damn excuse. I'm so sick of hearing that. And then on top of it, here's the thing. 92% of Americans don't want the war.
Right.
You know, so what does that tell you?
Yeah.
People that thought he was going to change, thought, you know, looking for a hope, they're seeing it's not happening. It's not, but why?
Right.
I would like to say, Billy, that it's morals. I think it's because really it's hitting their pocketbooks, bro. Everybody's pocketbooks are getting hit right now.
I can't disagree with you. I want to disagree with you, but I can't. I don't know how much of this is based on American morality. If it was, he wouldn't be in power. You know, because we knew this about Donald Trump. Don't tell me you didn't know about the Epstein fight. Like I don't understand the outrage now about Epstein. This has been around forever. You know, a lot of the stuff that's being leaked, not all of it, of course, but a lot of the stuff that's being leaked has already been out there, and people just look the other way. Listen, no, and you know it's bullshit. So I don't get. So I'm with you. I think a lot of it is. It needs to knock on your door, and you need to stare it in the face. And once it starts digging into your pockets, you start changing your perspective. You start changing, but it's different for everyone. And to be honest with you, Tiger, I'm trying not to be a judge on morality here. I'm like, you know what? For whatever reason that you are separating from this buffoon, I'll take it. Let's get together and get him out, and then we'll deal with everything else later. After we're done with this disaster that we have on our hands, then we can go back to arguing with one another. But let's do it civilly, you know, and let's figure out what's happening with our government without MAGA. Right? Let's cut out MAGA. And then you want to go back to hating on freaking Hakeem Jeffries and how inept he is? I'll join you, no problem. Right? That's fine. But I'm with it. So if they're doing it just because it's affecting their pockets, you know what? I'm like, all right, it's affecting your pocket. You finally see it. Okay, come on, let's get together. Let's get this guy out of here.
Well, yeah, that's what it's going to take, you know. Right. Again, I mean, the guy is protecting pedophiles bare minimum.
Right. That
should turn everyone off. Not just everybody. The whole country should be like aghast about this. Again, you know, aghast, and they're not, dude. Right. They're not. That's why I'm not judging. I cannot judge anyone. My moral compass tells me it feels very strange for me to be living in a society where the citizens are accepting the fact that our government is protecting pedophiles, that known people who have victimized people, okay, that are mega, you know, and they're all the elite, okay, they're all super rich people, put it in layman's terms, right? And they're sitting there and they're not doing anything. Is that because they're too busy trying to survive? I don't know. We give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's crazy, bro. It's eerie and scary.
Well, here we are. I'm looking for another clip. I have a bunch of clips I want to play here. I'm going to play Nick Fuentes. There's a couple of clips from Nick that I want to play because he's talking some stuff. But I want to find one with Dan Bongino to go to your point about the pedophilia shit. People aren't having this anymore. And that's one thing I will give MAGA. They're not the MAGAs that are around now. Because if you're still MAGA, you're just a horrible person. But there's a lot of people in MAGA that were in MAGA that are like, you know what? I'm out. I'm not down with the pedophilia crap. So there was something there, right? There were true beliefs of some type, you know, good people. I know there's a lot of good people that were caught up in MAGA for one reason or the other. But anyway, people are coming out and really trying to hold these people accountable, or just throwing the figurative tomato at these people when they're walking the streets. And we need more of this. We saw it not too long ago when they were at a factory. Trump was at a factory, and one of the factory workers was calling him a pedophile, and Trump flipped him off. The best he could do. But here's Dan Bongino's punk ass. You know, Dan Bongino is a reprehensible human being. And I saw him when he was sitting down talking about Epstein killed himself with Kash Patel. And I was like, something's up with Dan Bongino. We need to look at him. We need to watch him. I don't know if he can cut it. You know, and I was like, well, maybe he'll start blowing the whistle or something. I gave him a little bit too much credit, but he couldn't cut it and left the administration. But he's seen all of this. He has seen everything in all those Epstein files.
Probably some of it in person. Dude, he is a government spook. He was wandering around with these people.
Yeah. He's seen everything, and he's quiet about it. And he's willing to lie to the American public to keep his podcast and keep people coming back and stay on the good graces of Donald Trump. But here we go. Watch this. This is great.
He also looks
You're
weird.
a pedophile protector, a pedophile protector, pedophile protector. You put. I was a cop for 9 years. You're a pedophile protector, fag. You're a pedophile protector. Fag. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
And more and more, you're seeing this. You're seeing this in the press. People pushing back on literally in press conferences. There's a couple of people that are just really not letting Trump off the hook when he would say, you know, when he would deflect and say fake news or whatever. They would just stop and let it go. People aren't doing that anymore. At least some people aren't. You know, they're like pushing back on him. This is falling apart. He has done more to hurt himself than any other president in the history of this nation. His approval ratings are in the cellar. You know, it's ridiculous what's going on now after 2026. And they're going to claim the rigged election. They're going to claim everything, you know, but all, you know, it's coming, dude. You know, they're going to do that. And a lot of people here in the alt media are going to co-sign that shit, you know, and they're going to go along with it. And you know,
they're not alt media anymore then, really, Billy. I mean, they're not, or what are they? Well, I'm very disappointed in him. He claims he's alt media and he's not partial, right?
Who's this?
I grew up with this guy. He's got a really big account. He was a news guy here locally. When we were kids, that's what he wanted to be when he grew up, right? And that's what he does. And he's partisan all the way to the right, you know? And I'm like, dude, you are not what you say you are. You say that you're objective. You are not.
Right.
You know, why are you I'm like, dude, why aren't you reporting on any of this stuff? And it's just until those guys jump off the money train from the Trump MAGA thing because their morals again, dude, it goes back to that. Their morals suck, and alert their viewers that, hey, this is bad. He's violating the Constitution. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing this. They don't tell these people that. No, they don't.
No.
And, you know, and what do you do? And this guy is like, I don't know, 500,000 viewers.
Guard Goldsmith is here. What's up, Guard? How are you? How you feeling, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. Pretty serious night, and thank you for the invite. Tiger, great to see you. Great to see you guys.
Good to see you too, Guard. I hope you're feeling well, man.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day, and you know, just keeping up on the events has really kept me busy. Pretty tired, but you know, this is a time when getting together with friends is really important to me, and I appreciate being here with you guys. You know,
well, we appreciate your perspective, man. And when I saw this, you know, I had already established that Tiger was coming on, so I was like, oh, this is perfect. Tiger can give us his thoughts on it. But I thought about you, and I thought about Tony. Tony may or may not. I don't think Tony's going to come on. Tony's busy, and I haven't checked my phone. But I wanted to get his perspective on this too. And you, of course. So if you weren't watching, I was going to send it to you. If you hadn't seen it, maybe you had seen it already. But I'm going to play it one more time just for context sake, and so you can get a full, so we can get your full perspective, your informed perspective on this and what's going on here. Because I think it's a big deal, man. This is a big problem. Let's play this.
reportedly considering requiring ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz to use Chinese yuan instead of the US dollar. That's according to a senior Iranian official who spoke with CNN. But this move is described as a form of economic warfare aimed at bypassing the U.S. financial system. This proposal is a direct challenge to the petrodollar system, which has seen almost all global oil traded in U.S. dollars since 1974. If major importers like Japan, South Korea, and India are forced to hold yuan reserves instead of dollars to secure energy, global demand for the US dollar will shrink. This would likely result in higher interest rates and increased borrowing costs for the US government, complicating the management of our already horrible national debt. This would also significantly impact the US's geopolitical power because a transition to yuan would permanently weaken the ability of the US to impose impactful sanctions. According to an Iran analyst, this could cost the United States $3 trillion per year while significantly weakening the US dollar. But as all of this is taking place, don't worry. Donald Trump is in Florida right now playing golf.
Donald Trump has added $1 trillion dollars to the deficit in 5 months. I remember I was sitting in a broadcast with Gard Goldsmith on election night. It was you, me, as a bunch of other people.
Right.
When Gard came on, was that from my show? I must have that somewhere. I don't.
Yeah.
When Gard came on, it looked very apparent that Donald Trump was going to win. I was having a meltdown. It's like, no, what's going on? You know, and Gard comes in and he goes, and I'm like, Gard, what are you thinking? What's gonna happen here? And I want to say the first thing that came out of Gard's mouth, and even if it wasn't the first thing, it soon followed. He's like, we have to look at Iran. They're gonna go to war with Iran. You know, there's this dude making the rounds, Professor John or something. I forget the guy's name. It's all over the place that he made predictions about that they're going. And so everybody's like, oh my God, let's look at him. He is regurgitating old conspiracy theory that I've heard 8 million times from David Icke and from everybody else. I've heard it before. So I'm like, okay, I know what this guy's saying, whatever. Gard predicted this. It's on record. He's not the only one, of course. But what I'm trying to say is you don't have to be a soothsayer to be able to tell that this was going to happen. And Gard came on and he was like, that's what we need to look forward to. That's going to be the problem. I hadn't seen it I knew there might have been, but it went over my head at the moment. I think I was just trying to process Trump actually winning, which I didn't think was going to happen. You know, and when you said that, I was like, oh, damn. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's probably going to go down. And we got icing on the cake. We got Cuba, we got Venezuela, you know, let's do Somalia. Why not, right? Let's remake Gaza. Let's threaten Greenland. The Panama Canal is not out of the question after they freaking take Cuba, because it's happening.
So many dead bodies between Cuba and Venezuela, you can almost walk across the water.
You ain't kidding, Gard. Give us your take on that clip that I just showed.
Yeah, well,
and then go wherever you want with it. Go ahead, sir.
Sure thing, man. Well, you know, I enter with you guys here, my kindred spirits. God, I love you guys, man. I feel like this is essentially what it might have felt like to have been a resident of Boston the night or the months before, leading into 24 hours before the Boston Massacre, when Crispus Attucks was shot. And the reason I say that is because you could see things building and you knew what direction they were going, and you knew King George was crazy and he was not going to stop. And so it was very clear that in order to try to do a number of things, salvage the petrodollar, isolate Russian energy exports, they were going to overthrow Syria, which is exactly what they've been working on for, 15 years. They were going to try to get rid of Assad, stop energy exports coming out of Russia there. They already tried to block it coming out of Ukraine after Yanukovych made a deal with Russia in 2013. They overthrew him in late 2013, early 2014. So we saw that happening. And so it was just basically a combination of the Greater Israel Project combined with the United States trying to keep the petrodollar propped up as long as possible. And this is part of it. And Donald Trump, like King George, is insane, because he has no concept of the ramifications of what this is going to do economically. And I think it's ironic to hit on that clip that you played. I think it's ironic that any supporter or anybody commenting on Donald Trump, whether they support him or not, likens what Iran is doing to economic terrorism or economic threats or economic military strategy or anything like that, when it was merely 4 weeks ago that Scott Bessent was bragging about doing exactly that inside Iran, and many, many people died because of his actions. These people have no compunction. They've got nothing holding them back, and they've got a bunch of slobbering MAGA supporters who are all jazzed up about migrants and about Islam and about Islamic people living in Michigan or in Minnesota or outside Chicago, that they can't see that if Donald Trump takes any further action to destroy civil industry, civil infrastructure, or energy production inside Iran, and Iran retaliates, as they promise they will, then not only are we going to be at a position where 30%, almost 30% of the energy flow for the world, and it doesn't matter whether people say, well, the United States is separated for that. That's a load of crap. That's utterly disingenuous. The United States doesn't have elasticity in its capability to get natural gas or fuel oil. They destroyed the energy capacity for coal. It takes years to be able to explore ANWR, get recovery, and get it refined, and they won't open a new refinery until 2027. Donald Trump could not be destroying the U.S. economy any better if he had a team of scientists coming up with a monster in a lab to create the ultimate anti-future for your kids and my kids, if I ever have kids. Because this is just within 24 hours or 36 hours, we'll probably know. But if he hits any of those places and he hits any of those oil wells, as I mentioned to someone on phone, if you watch Dialogue Works today, that guy Stanislaw was on with what's his name, Nami, and Stanislav Krapivnik. And he mentioned he used to work in this field for BlackRock, for oil and energy and stuff like that. It takes years to be able to get those things going again. It's going to be an absolute mess. And so it's not just going to be 30%. It's going to be a heck of a lot more. So I hope people have extra storage of fuel, and I hope they're getting canned goods. If Trump does this, if he doesn't back off, we're screwed. Everything is going to be completely different.
I've never seen such incompetence. And I want both of your thoughts right now, because this is one of the going. I addressed it with Tiger just a little bit earlier in the show, but it's a growing trend. Not growing, but just a lot of people in the alt media, a lot of pundits in the alt media, a lot of personalities, a lot of podcast hosts. You know, they were like, no matter who got into office, it was going to be this way. I don't subscribe to that point of view. I think the American empire is on the decline, and it's always going to be on the decline. I think the technocracy was coming regardless. You know, I think they were going to aid Israel in destroying Palestine in some capacity regardless, you know, but to the degree that this is happening right now, I haven't seen in my lifetime. I've been alive. I've experienced it with my own eyes and ears. And I know Democrat derangement syndrome is a thing, right? But Jesus Christ, I do not understand how anyone can say, oh, no matter who got in, it was going to be this way. This is a total disaster. And this isn't what America has been. We show flashes of this stuff once or twice or whatever, and we were on our decline. And there's a lot of bad stuff that America has done. I'm not trying to excuse America for it. My family is from Puerto Rico and Central America. I'm very aware of what America imperialism is like. Okay. But we're talking scale here. And we're talking the advancement of the destruction of this country. we experienced 4 years of Joe Biden. I'm not saying it was good. It wasn't this. It wasn't this. George Bush wasn't this. I mean, your thoughts, Guard, and then I'm going to Tiger.
Well,
Feel free to disagree.
yeah, almost immediately, following up on Trump's ridiculous experiment on shutting down the economy with the COVID so-called pandemic lockdown nonsense, and easily how they tested the permeability of the U.S. constitutional system again to find holes in it for various attorneys and lawyers and governors who would breach most of the Bill of Rights, having lockdowns, shutting down people's businesses, all those things, and then destroying the supply chains with the jab requirements for people. We're seeing the same thing started up almost immediately last year with Trump with his so-called Liberation Day and throwing all those tariffs onto people. And a bunch of economically ignorant people seem to think that tariffs were some sort of whipped cream that were going to be wonderful to pile on top of things, without realizing that tariffs are taxes, and they manipulate the economy for favored friends, which is exactly what Donald Trump is really good at. And as most politicians are. So that was a way to choke the supply chain of goods and materials and take out $350 billion from the economy that could have been spent in other ways or saved by people. Yeah. Then they started up with ICE, and they pulled away another factor of the supply chain, which is labor. And labor, as much as many people think, well, yeah, we got to stop these foreigners working here or there or here or there. It's my right to be able to hire whoever the hell I want to friggin' hire. That's all. If I want to talk to somebody, I should be able to talk to them. That's a transaction too. You're going to stop that? And if I want to hire somebody, maybe someone would read the Constitution and recognize that the word immigration is not in there. And so all these patriotic people can stop fooling themselves and standing in circle jerks with each other, telling each other that they're patriotic when they don't have a friggin' clue about what is in their Constitution. And Donald Trump just shut down that portion of the economy. So you see prices rising and rising and rising. You see them rising. You see Scott Bessent telling us, well, the economy is doing great. Then 2 weeks later, the economy will be doing great just before the turn of the year. Same thing with Kevin Hassett. They both did the same thing within a couple weeks of each other between December and January. Now, all of a sudden, well, yeah, we're going to be reaping the benefits of all this. What benefits? A lot of dead bodies? Yeah. Is that what it's going to be? Or is it going to be a lot more destruction of the U.S. economy? And then we'll see the Fed jump in and lower interest rates even more. Okay. That's what they're going to do. They're going to lower interest rates even more. They're going to try to bump this up before the election comes in. But they can't hide it now. If Donald Trump doesn't stop this, then he's gone. He's going to be toast. JD Vance is going to be toast as far as the politics goes. Agreed. The Republicans will lose the House and the Senate. And they're probably going to do it. They're probably going to lose that now. And if they do, then I wonder how the Democrats are going to respond to all this stuff. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be too late by then. Because by then we'll have no energy. We're not going to have any energy.
Absolutely. And what's going to happen is even if the Democrats are effective in doing anything to provide some friction, and I am desperate. Somebody needs to provide some friction. So I'll take it from wherever it comes. Donald Trump is just going to ignore them. He's ignoring Congress now, and it's his. They're MAGA, Republicans, quote unquote, but these are MAGAs for the most part. They run both houses. Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. He is MAGA extreme. And he doesn't use them for jack. He just does executive orders for everything. And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. Let him keep doing that, because all of that goes away on day one whenever somebody else comes in.
But Billy Ray, I just want to mention this. The thing that bothers me very much about this is that the capacity, the fighting capacity of any person who opposes this particular policy being done through executive order or that particular policy, it's weakened by them only citing the policy and not citing the structure that's being destroyed by the use of the executive order to initiate some sort of legislative action.
Agreed.
And then to go beyond that, to say, even if this were done by Congress, you have to look at whether or not Congress is sanctioned by this anyway. And then going even deeper to the moral side of it, which is I never signed the Constitution anyway. When I'm dead and gone, I hope people remember I never signed the Constitution. I should have been left alone. I'm a free individual. When you look at my gravestone, remember, none of those trappings, I didn't sign on to them. I'm a flesh and blood human being created by God, and you're supposed to leave me alone. That's all. It doesn't matter what time I exist. It doesn't matter what year I exist. Leave me the hell alone. That's it. Period.
Angry Tiger, what's up, bud?
Oh, viva la personal sovereignty regard. Well said, my friend. You know, I'm on that same train Guard's on. But here's the thing: when Trump got during the election and everything, I'm like, if Trump gets in, that means it's going to be crazy. Crazy things are going to happen. The economic wrecking ball. I said that after a month that he was in there. I'm like, I looked at what he wanted to do economically. I'm like, this is a wrecking machine. Okay. Then I'm like, he's not going to do this, right? People will complain, right? You're going to put these tariffs on. They're going to complain. And then he did it. And then I continued to watch him do things. And what really is interesting that a lot of people under Trump, 100% economic. I've got a new name for him. I want to coin it. Let me know if you guys have heard this. He's Captain Chaos, dudes. That's who he is. Yeah. Captain Chaos. He's not Captain Caveman. He's Captain Chaos. Okay, with Captain Caveman's brain. All right. The club Captain Caveman has, that brain. That's the brain that he's got in his head. But anyway, so something happened. Another our treasury. Okay. They're borrowing money from the Fed. They're being allowed to service the debt that way. We've been financialized. The economy, and Guard could probably explain this a little bit better than I can, has been financialized. It's a financialized economy now. That's an acceleration. That's a step in the acceleration of destroying the economy I wasn't ready for.
Right.
Okay, because you have to understand the ramifications of a financialized economy. They're spending $83,000 per minute right now on the war. So what he's doing economically, that's my main concern. It's very scary, Billy. It's very scary. What do you do with this? There's no way that we can sustain this. Even if he gets out of Iran right now, the damage that he has done to the debt and the financialization of the economy under his appointments is devastating.
And that's what the title of the show today is. It'll never be the same again. It's over. It'll never be the same again. That's it. It's a wrap, people. Good night, nurse. That's it. And it's been like this for a while now, but I mean, there's no coming back from this one, bro.
And I'm curious to get your opinions, you guys, because I keep seeing these sort of nascent deflections that keep popping up where they'll say something like, over in NATO, you got Rutte out there saying, well, they've got to stop these attacks against these other Middle Eastern nations. Like, dude, those Middle Eastern nations have U.S. bases on them. They are puppets of the United States. They've allowed them to launch from those bases. And not only that, when they got warned by the Iranians that they were going to strike, they moved some of their guys into hotels, into civilian quarters. Yeah. What do you expect? The Iranians didn't start this. They never started any of this stuff. Going back to the 50s, they didn't friggin' start it.
Right.
We're sitting here in the United States, and so many people from the Middle East, I hope they hear three guys sitting here going, we don't want to have anything to do with this. We don't hate you. We don't want to attack you. They're insane people. I don't vote. I don't participate. It's like,
the thing is like, I'm trying to put this in words. All right. So it's like a bully punches somebody in the face and then that person retaliates. The person that got punched in the face retaliates, and they're like, why did you retaliate?
Right.
Why did you retaliate? They're like, don't bomb other countries. There's a reason why that's happening. And it's not like they're bombing just random people. They're bombing American bases in that country.
Yeah, and then you get the same mentality where Trump and J.D. Vance and Trump and
Right.
Hegseth just most recently, some of the most offensive stuff to anybody in Europe, sitting there going, well, they should be thanking us.
What a disgusting human
Like,
being.
what are you talking about, dude? You just destroyed the economies of Germany, of Great Britain. I mean, they were already going in the tank,
Right.
but now you just flushed it even harder, man. Like, you spun it even more.
Oh my God.
It's like,
That
and
guy-
you expect them to come down. Not only does he say, well, you should be helping us out down there in the Gulf. It's like, dude, you're the one who pooped all over the floor. Now you want us to come and lick it up?
to come and clean it, right? Exactly. It's like I don't understand it.
What?
That
the
guy,
heck?
that guy is
It's
a jihadist. That is
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
way to describe Pete Hegseth. He is a jihadist. And this thing with Iran, if you look at it from that kind of point of view, right? A more a religious kind of ethnicity point of view, this is a jihad for Israel. And he's
Yeah.
on some crazy other jihad, some, I don't know, moonshine still in Bible jihad, I don't know, Schofield Bible madness. But this is madness. But again, these are people we're talking about. Billy mentioned earlier, Trump said, Guard, this is what the guy says. I'm going to obliterate Iran. This is a world leader. Remember the guy, Krasnov, was that his name? He was banging on the table with his shoe.
Khrushchev.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
Khrushchev,
will
sorry.
bury him. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that was insane and that's always been kind of insane behavior from a world leader. He's telling all those people, I'm going to kill you. Think about that for a minute. Think about if you sat here and Vladimir Putin got on, was being interviewed and he said, I'm going to obliterate the United States. How you would feel about that? It's just crazy, man.
Oh man. I got
Go
ahead, Guard. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cradle published the Iranian response to Trump, and their strict warnings. I'll see if I can find it for you because it's in my feed, and it's a really, really. I've got so much stuff on my X feed right now. It's a really good item that might be worthwhile. And also, the other thing I want to mention is keep your eyes on X because you might have heard about this. Somebody connected with the Israeli government who has an official advertiser paid X feed just put out $1 million reward for essentially the kidnapping of Mohammad Marandi, the professor from Tehran University. And he's a history professor of like Oriental studies. He spent a lot of time in the United States and X has not pulled that down. They've allowed it to stay up there. So it's people are really upset and they're talking about Elon Musk on this again. I'll see if I can find this for you. It's from the Cradle originally, and they had an excellent broadcast today as well about the ramifications of all this. But let me see if I can dig it up in my feed. It's got to be here somewhere. I'll just read you a couple things here. This is from Al Jazeera. The Iranian military has outlined a potential response to U.S. President Trump's threats to attack the country's power plants if Iran does not open the Strait of Hormuz. 1, the Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed and will not reopen until our damaged power plants are rebuilt. 2, all power plants and the energy and information technology infrastructure of Israel will be widely targeted. 3, all similar companies in the region that have American shareholders will be completely destroyed.
Damn, man.
4, power plants in regional countries hosting U.S. bases will be considered legitimate targets. So you can say goodbye to Bahrain, you can say goodbye to Qatar, and that includes desalination plants. If they hit the desalination plants for Bahrain and Qatar, nobody's going to have fresh water within a few days because they rely on ocean water that's desalinized. They're going to have to evacuate. They're not going to have anybody there, and they're not going to be able to fly in enough water. They're going to have to get the people out of there. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Man, this is
It's
not
freaking crazy, dude.
this is not good, guys.
And it's not like this hasn't been gamed, right, dude? It's like anybody in the military knows for decades they've been gaming what would happen if they
Right.
hit Iran. Who in their right mind? I mean, even if you just play Risk, you know that there's going to be a response.
right. And
The final thing I'll mention too is let's say that the Americans didn't think that the Iranians had the technology of their rockets, which was stupid to think that they wouldn't, because they're very technologically minded and they have the underground facilities. But let's say they thought, oh, the Iranians won't be able to respond with missiles and hypersonic missiles and missiles that can go 1,000 kilometers. Well, what about agents on the ground? You're always telling us about all these agents which haven't shown up in the United States. Wouldn't you have gamed for agents in the Allies' groundworks in places like Qatar and Bahrain, and think maybe that they might try to set up explosive devices in the desalination plants? This whole thing, it's like, how dumb can you possibly get? I don't even support this action. And I could see if you were doing it, you could do it a better way. Right. And I'm just a guy who listens to punk rock in his car. Like, I don't know.
It's amazing. The incompetence is amazing.
Incredible.
I mean, they fell for them, sending all their old stuff. I mean, dude, Iran is kicking our ass to a certain degree. And this is what scares me, bro. This is what scares me, Guard. And I said this to Billy earlier. Is it all right if I ask him this, Billy? I'm not,
of course, brother.
Hey, man. What do you think of the chances of them using a nuke? Because Iran's not going anywhere, dude. They're not.
No, yeah, that's exactly where my mind goes. And it's Netanyahu or Trump now. I'm thinking Trump might even try it too.
Lindsey Graham said to do it.
He said, yes.
Who's the other guy? Oh man, he's not Newt Gingrich.
Not Cotton.
Newt Gingrich too.
Oh, Newt. Oh man, what a disgusting. And by the way, don't forget, everybody, back around 2005, 2006, Mr. Conservative Newt Gingrich was out there saying that he thought for sure, for the safety of Americans, that the internet should be controlled by a panel of 5 people. And, but as long as they all had military experience, those judges could determine what could go out on the internet. That was Newt Gingrich. It's like, seriously, dude, I'd rather have Fred Flintstone handling things. But my worry when you talk about that, my worry was, okay, Trump hits Iran promises to respond, they do respond. That puts Israel in such a position, and Netanyahu particularly in such a position, that all the people squatting on that land of Palestine who came from the Ashkenazis and are supported by the dumb Schofield Bible insanity are now in their bunkers underground, right? So what's the next step for Netanyahu then? Is he gonna send troops there? Clearly not. He's going to respond, and the response could possibly be nuclear weapons, because they're running out of regular tactical weapons. They don't have
not only that, they're a
weapons.
small country, Guard, right? The damage Iran could cause them, I think Iran is limiting what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
I think they could actually smash them like a bug if they want. They could send so many missiles over at one time that there's no way they could, they couldn't defend themselves. This is what's scary.
Yeah, and they showed, by the way, but they showed by going after the nuke location over in Israel, where of course their non-nuclear, it's not a nuclear site, exists in Israel, very clearly shows that the Israelis couldn't defend against it. There was nothing that they could do to stop the Iranian missiles. So it looks pretty clear to me that if Netanyahu and Trump are pushed to it, they might respond with nuclear weapons. And that would be, I mean, I can't even, these people on the ground in Iran, year after year after year that I won't even go into it, but it's just so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
It's a disaster. Karen Carpenter in the chat. What's up, Karen? How are you? She said it's not incompetence. And in a way, she's right, but there's a lot of incompetence here. A lot of incompetence. These people have no idea what the hell they're doing. Hold on, I got the wrong screen here. But it's not incompetence on the part of Benjamin Netanyahu, right? He is very conscious about what's going on, and this is what they wanted, right? And it's not incompetence on the part of the deep incels over at the Heritage Foundation. It might not be incompetence there, but as far as the way this has been carried out, it's complete incompetence. And if you don't want to call it incompetence, you can call it recklessness. And that, what's up, buddy? What's up, Guard?
No, I was just thinking, it's amazing that for so many years, we've been fed all these lines. You know, I was just talking about that nuclear center. It's the Negev nuclear center, that place, Dimona. And the Iranians were very careful about their hit, but it was a warning sign. And they've given so many warning signs. While on the other side, these reckless, hegemonic, Western American colonial imperial, tied to the end of the British colonial system, pro-Israeli forces have just felt like they can do anything they want with these people. And it's so infuriating. You know, like I dated a girl whose family comes from Hawaii, you know, and I think about what the Americans did to the Hawaiians. And it just doesn't stop. They won't stop. It's so bad. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. The only thing that could be successful is if Trump, who is so unstable, I don't know what he'll do. If Trump recognizes and hears from enough people to say, if you don't back down now, the Republican Party is screwed. You have to back down. And they might already be too screwed economically. Yeah. I just don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's telling him that because it's common sense, right? Somebody's telling him, listen, you need to stop. But it's the wrong people telling him that because he's listening to others. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to ask both of you a question here since we're talking about nuclear war. You know, he posted this either yesterday or today. I don't remember. I don't see the date anywhere. It's somewhere here, but I just can't. Here it is, the 22nd. He posted this on the 22nd. It says, now with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy America has is the radical left. What do you guys think about that? I think that's a really, I mean, you know, especially if you've been listening to the show, you know what Stephen Miller said months ago about the radical left and what they wanted to do to the radical left. And then everybody is Antifa. Antifa is a terrorist organization. This is worrisome, right? Now with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy America has is the radical left. The radical left, the highly incompetent Democratic Party. Thanks for your attention to this matter. So will he drop a freaking nuke on Iran? That's on the table. I think he is capable. I think they are capable of doing this. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I think they're capable. I'm still going to lean on the unlikely, but definitely capable. What are they going to do to the political opponents? Because they're saying Democrats, right? But we know that it's anybody that opposes this, right? Anybody that opposes Donald Trump. He says, I am MAGA. And he's right. He is MAGA. So anybody that says, you know, maybe we need to investigate more on these Epstein files, and you were MAGA, you say something like that, automatically you become Antifa. We've been talking about this for months now. And this is scary to me, that we're going to get to a point where this guy is taking extreme action against his political opponents. And I'm talking about citizens. I'm not talking about just actual politicians. And a lot of them are in the crossfires here. But I'm talking about citizens. And we have 3 years. Am I reaching here? I'm going to Tiger first.
Not at all. I mean, Billy, with all the regulations and legislation in place, that have to do with terrorism and terrorists, that right there, the government could real mamby-pamby go after people. But now, okay, it's going to be a norm. Okay, and it's become a norm. All the people that were January 6th are terrorists. All the people that went to what was the last thing? The No Kings thing, they're all terrorists. Antifa, everyone's Antifa. Okay. That statement is disturbing, again, from the leader of a world, all right, talking about a whole nother country is your greatest enemy, all right? So all those people there are your greatest enemy. We're going to obliterate them. We're going to wipe them out. That is the goal of this. I mean, it's like, what world am I living in right now, man? And now you're telling your followers and your supporters that, hey, we've dehumanized the whole country. Now we're going for Democrats. And because radical left, just take those words out. That means Democrats to the most of these people.
Absolutely.
Right. That's, the radical left thing is stupid to even put in there. So the amount of dehumanization, they're the enemy. They need to be obliterated, and they'll support this. That's what I mean, and is it going to become normal? They've already pretty much protesting, bro, you're a terrorist if you're geolocated. And that, they proved that out. So what's going to become the norm, man?
Guard Goldsmith, what's up?
Yeah, I think that without this, I think that, okay, so we've seen polls that, some massive 100% or, 10,000% of MAGA support Trump's actions in the Middle East, right? They are, and they'll probably even allow the wool to get pulled over their eyes, even on the ramifications and the consequences of Trump's reckless actions. Once those price increases come in, they'll probably claim it was Iran's fault and not Trump's. But I think that enough people have shaken from the vine on this that I don't think their rhetoric of going after the left is going to completely work unless they do some sort. And I don't want to speculate too much, but I keep thinking that they'll try to pull something and blame it inside domestic continental United States and blame it on some sort of leftist group associated especially with immigration. And that will be the line of demarcation between the GOP, supportive of ICE, supportive of DHS, and the Democrats who held up DHS, held up funding for ICE, and look what happened. Now, again, so many times I'll be watching somebody and they'll say something and they might, be imaginative and stuff. It takes a lot, I think, a lot of planning and a lot of craziness to do that sort of thing. But I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put it past him either, unfortunately. All right, I want to play Nick Fuentes and then we're getting out of here. There's a lot of Nick Fuentes I want to play. I don't like Nick Fuentes, but he's making a whole lot of sense. And what I want people to see here is that these people, and he has a massive, massive audience, these people all voted for Donald Trump. All of them. And now he's telling these people not to. He's actually telling them to vote for Democrats. You think they're not going to follow him? They followed him all the way to Donald Trump, and now he's pulled back, and he has all the ammunition to say that Donald Trump is completely incompetent and has betrayed them. He's pissed, and his followers are pissed. I just want to lay that out there when 2026 comes around, in November, I should say, and people are yelling fraud. Or when 2028 comes around and these people lose, if we even have elections, and people are yelling fraud, okay? Let me play this real quick. This is an older clip. I have more, but I'm not going to play them today. But this aged well. Let's watch this.
Democrats for who? For who? Trump is better than the
I wanted to get it from the beginning. I'll just let it play again. All right.
Democrats for Israel, for the oil and gas industry, for Silicon Valley, for Wall Street. Is he really better for us? I don't think so. My student loans got reactivated or something. You know what Biden did? Biden made it so that medical debt doesn't go on your credit report. That was good for me. Biden tried to forgive the student loans. That was good for me. Now, I'm not saying vote for Biden. I'm not saying vote for anyone in particular. Don't you understand? I'm saying Republicans want you to eat a shit sandwich and be okay with it because you're taking one for the team. Ben Shapiro is going to sit there and say, Israel needs $25 billion, but if you expect me to forgive your student loans, well, that's not basic economics. He's taking his own side. Get it? We are supposed to take their side. We're supposed to have this team player. I'll vote for Republican no matter what. Oh, okay, you won't forgive my student loans? Okay, well, that's because the free market said so. The free market says that Republicans have enough money to bomb Iran, but not enough money to pay for my student loans. And I'm going to vote for that because I'm an idiot. I'm a sucker because I like getting raped. I like when my money's taken from me. I like being screwed. That's you. You're a fucking cuck. You understand? You're a fucking loser. Do you get it? You're sitting there rationalizing nothing has gotten better for us. Nothing has gotten better for us at all. At all. They changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico on the map. They're changing the name of the Pentagon to the Department of War. They bought a 10% stake in Intel. They're bringing in all these visas. They're bombing Iran. Trump, I've seen what you could do for others. Bless me in the same way. They won't. They won't do it. You vote to get screwed, and you think you're on the team?
You know, and this is what he's telling his people. This is what they're hearing, and this is spilled over to my algorithm. I don't even know where I can listen to to Nick Fuentes. I have no idea where I can access his show, and it has spilled over to my algorithm. More people are hearing this. Agree or disagree with him, with his positions, right, and the way he talks and his brashness and all of this. A lot of what he said right there was spot on. A lot of it. I want to play one more before I get out of here. But people aren't ready to face this. What Nick Fuentes said, especially about Biden. They still want to hold on to, oh, it's both sides. Both sides are awful or whatever. And yeah, but there's degrees here. The way MAGA has run away with this at this point. I think we need to acknowledge that. Sure, the Democrats are having incredible problems and we can deal with that. But if you ask me, if I'm getting in the ring with Brock Lesnar or CM Punk, I'm going to get my ass kicked either way. But I'm going to take CM Punk. I have a better shot at not getting eaten alive than stepping in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Or let me put it in ways that Mike Tyson, or pick a fighter. I don't know.
Tommy Hearns. Tommy
Hearns, would he be alive too? I'm just saying, like, Tommy Hearns would beat the living trash out of me. What was, I don't know, Prince Nassim Hamed. He'd probably beat my ass, right? But Mike Tyson would decapitate me. So I want to pick my opponent with strategy where I can survive, where I can have a better position to push back. And what Trump is doing here is really like burying us. It's like Brock Lesnar eating me alive. Okay. And I think that's what Nick Fuentes is getting at here. And this was an older clip. Now he's telling people, his people, he's telling them to vote Democrat. He's saying, he said, I'm not telling you to vote for Joe Biden. He was saying in that clip, but that was an older clip. Let me play you a newer clip. This is a more recent clip of him. Let me see.
Do not vote in the midterms. And if you do, vote for Democrats. Fuck this. That is what the Republicans deliver. That is what our golden age looks like. The tariffs were refunded. The deportations were stopped. They wound down and withdrew the ICE from Minneapolis. What does this administration do other than embezzle money, go to war with Iran, and bury the Epstein file?
Thoughts, guys? This is what he's telling his legions and legions of followers, and he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Now, I disagree with a lot of what Nick Fuentes says, and you got to say this because otherwise they're like, oh, this Billy loves Nick Fuentes or something. No, that's not the case. But a lot of these people are starting to realize that Donald Trump is a piece of shit, and that's my main goal here. That guy's a piece of shit. Can we all agree on that? And then we move forward? Great. Guard Goldsmith.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. You got to start with a capital letter on the start of the sentence, and that's it. Capital T for this. This guy is a piece of crap. And from there, obviously disagreements with Nick Fuentes' goals on certain things. And, the Democrats aren't going to get him towards a lot of those goals if he's talking about migrants and stuff like that. Right. But the recognition that Donald Trump is not trustworthy, all you have to look at Abbas Araghchi of Iran, the foreign minister, mentioned, why would we ever negotiate with that jerk again? It's like he just lies. And that's maybe some of the folks who voted for Donald Trump are starting to recognize, oh yeah, that's right, he lies and he's unstable. And it may be not a good idea to have someone unstable in there. So you know, especially when his only seeming note of stability is money from Israel and opening up property in Gaza for his son-in-law and other crazed people, and hiring corrupt people connected to the Geo Corporation, like what's his name, Tom Holman and Pam Bondi and people like that, you know, and the arms industry. You know, I mean, we're going to have a whole nother set of corrupt people with the Democrats, obviously. But maybe they won't be bringing World War. I don't know. They pushed hard enough on Ukraine, so that was bad enough. So I don't know.
Right. I mean, there's still going to be problems. It's not going to be a utopia. We have to deal with this, and I just think we have to position ourselves in the best way for survival and to be able to push back. I'm going to play this one clip, and then I'm giving it to Tiger. Tiger's getting the last word on all of this, and then we're getting out of here.
All been going on. And you know what's interesting? Do you know who stood in the way of all of this? Just a fact. Just a fact. Don't let me inconvenience you. Do you know who stood in the way of this entire thing? Joe Biden. Joe Biden did. Because Joe Biden did not take the bait. He didn't take Israel's bait and fight Iran. He had two opportunities. When Israel provoked Iran in April 24 and in July 24, Joe Biden deterred Iran but did not attack them. It was Biden's National Security Council. It was Democrats in the Senate that tried to constrain U.S. weapons supplies to Israel. They wouldn't give Israel 2,000-pound bombs. And when Joe Biden got in, the first thing he tried to do was reconstitute a nuclear deal with Iran. Go figure. That was the first thing he tried to do. What happened in August 2023? Just 2 months before October 7th, Joe Biden had a prisoner exchange with Iran and unfroze $6 billion in assets that were tied up in a South Korean bank that then made their way to Qatar and were on their way to Iran. Because Joe Biden was trying to make a grand bargain. It was under Joe Biden that China brokered a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which is a diplomatic revolution. So think of Trump ripped up the nuclear deal. Trump killed Soleimani. Trump designated the IRGC a terrorist group. Trump allowed Israel to annex all of Jerusalem and declare it its capital, which set the stage for Al-Aqsa flood, which set the stage for what is happening. Trump oversaw the repassing of the Memorandum of Understanding. Actually, I think it was renewed under Obama, just before. Can't blame everything on Trump, but he set the stage for all of this. Biden tried to interrupt it, and then Trump was brought back to resume. And the Jews didn't even want him. The Jews wanted DeSantis, then they wanted Haley. Finally, they settled on Trump, and then they were all in. And now you see why. 8-front war. They can't fight it alone. They can't fight on 8 fronts alone. They're a tiny, pathetic country of 8 million people. You think they can fight all these enemies all at the same time? They can't. They need us. That's why the 8th front is the most important. They needed a revolution in America, color revolution in the United States, so that we would sponsor all of this.
He makes some points, is all I'm saying. Tiger, what's up, bud?
Well, I mean, he just explained the Zionist hierarchy that we have here, and I hate to go there, but that's just what it is. I thought going there for many years, but here's the thing. I don't like him at all, not one single bit, but I'm going to give him the W for that. He has a reach that all three of us put together and everyone that we are friends with and have on our shows.
Right.
Okay, put together, he has more reach than all of us.
Yes.
And if he's exposing this and it's getting into people's brains and they're sticking with that, that's a glorious thing. Bravo. No matter how it gets to their brain. Just the simple fact, you can't trust this guy. You said it so simply, right? I like simple terms, right? Because like you, I want normal people to hear what we say and understand it and it not be fantastic or over their head or too complicated. And, there's ways to say things like that. And he does it in a way for his listeners that, he exposes the whole Zionist front, and that's a good thing. And, Trump, those are the neocons. The neocons have always been the majority in the Republican Party. They're always a huger, I think a larger presence. Maybe I'm wrong. Guard might say I'm wrong. I'm not sure. A larger presence in the Republican Party than in the Democrat Party, the neo-colonial war hawks. you know.
Guard, that was aimed at you. Go ahead,
Oh
buddy.
yeah, man. You know, you're speaking my language, brother. I mean, it's exactly right. You know, everything that I saw when I was growing up and the frustrations my parents had is, you know, still being in the Republican Party, but, you know, being alienated by all the neocons and Fuentes. Yeah. You know, it's, like you said, Tiger, it's a stark reality that one can recognize that a guy like that has that many people listening to him, and hopefully they'll find a lot of salient aspects to what he's saying, because what he's saying is spot on the money, right on that one, 100%. And you know, and it's one of those things where, again, you know, it makes me sort of check some of the predispositions that I have towards some of these people because of some of the things that they say, and say, okay, you know, I would be interested in at least talking to this guy. I probably wouldn't agree with him on some things, and I'd find some things ridiculously inflammatory and mildly disgusting or very disgusting. But you know, it makes me think to myself, you know, step back a little bit each time you think about one of these people, and you know, see if there's something where you can find a connection, and at least try to communicate with them and or their supporters, and maybe they'll try to do the same for you. You know.
All right, guys. Yeah, I'm not saying you gotta like him.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that we disagree here with him, but there's a lot of truth in all of that. And yeah, he played a pivotal role in getting Trump elected. That's not the point. The point is, all of those people that he got to vote for Trump will no longer be voting for Trump. This is the point I am trying to make here. And he's not the only one. There's tons of these people. How many people in Joe Rogan's audience are going to go back to that well? And Joe Rogan is lightly stepping back. He's not even really jumping into it. Like Nick Fuentes is swinging. He's like, F you.
Captain Chaos is a kamikaze, dude. He is. No, Captain Chaos is a kamikaze. He does not. They don't care.
Yeah.
And you know, it is a strange form of psychosis to think that he can mock people like Marco Rubio in the race for the presidency, call him Little Marco, do all these things that at the time seem, well, I don't agree with Trump on X, Y, or Z policy, but I appreciate him mocking Marco Rubio. It's a little childish, but okay, it's his style, whatever. And then he brings him into the administration, not only makes him Secretary of State, makes him National Security Advisor.
And
it's like, what are you talking about? Then some of his hardiest supporters, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, not only does he go completely opposite of many of the things that he stood for when Marjorie Taylor Greene supported him, he then attacks her. And it's like, you know, literally he is a weather vane in a hurricane. That's what it is, man. He's just all over the map. And that makes him extremely dangerous. And that's why I don't know what's going to be happening when I wake up on Tuesday.
Chaos, Captain Chaos.
To lend to that Captain Chaos, and now we're getting out of here. To lend to that, perfect name for him. Steve Bannon literally said as much. And I always harp back to Steve Bannon because he's the architect of all of this, in my opinion. He is the cornerstone. And that's how he described Donald Trump. He is an agent of chaos. We will wield him to bring order out of chaos. Steve Bannon was intimately involved with the occult. He knew all about it. He knows all about it. He read it as a kid, you know, as a young man. I think it was Blavatsky that he was reading. You know, so there's a lot of that he still implements today. And he's like, you know, Trump is a hammer. We need to wield that hammer. His words, not mine. I'm paraphrasing. Go look it up. So yeah, there's a lot of truth to Captain Chaos, and they thought they could, and they were right, actually, totally manipulating his ass all over the place, you know. But order for some is chaos for others, right? Their idea of order is not exactly our idea of order. So let's see what develops, man. I want to thank both of you for helping me make sense of all of this shit today. When I saw that, I was like, man, that report about Iran and the UN, I was like, man, I don't know what to make of this. So Tiger, thank you for taking the time. And of course, Guard, thank you for making time so last minute. Both of you, I appreciate it, coming on with me and helping me discuss this. And then speaking about not only the demise of our great country, I still say great, even though there's a lot of bad things that happened out of this country. There's a lot of good things too. I'm very grateful to this place. And what it's been able to do for me and for my family and what we've been able to do for it in return. But not only the demise of this country, but the demise of MAGA itself. Like MAGA's falling apart. It's over, man. It's over. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go through stuff for the next 3 years. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that MAGA as a movement is dead. It is over. The cult still exists. You're still going to hear people, like I said this on America Unplugged. There's still Nazis walking around. It's never going to go away, but it's not a prevalent a frame of thinking. It's not going to have the same impact that it did before. MAGA's done. It's done. They don't, and once Donald Trump is gone, meaning off this planet, there's no replacement for the cult leader. There's no one that's going to step in those shoes and be able to fill them like Donald Trump has. Name somebody. It's not going to be J.D. Vance. He might become the president, or if Trump dies within the presidency, but that doesn't mean he's going to be able to hold the cult together. The cult is already splitting apart. But talking about the people that stick around, you think they're going to lend their support to J.D. Vance? Is J.D. Vance even going to care about them? Who are we going to turn to? Tucker Carlson? He's thinking about running for president. Marco Rubio? People are taking Rubio seriously. Come on. MAGA's over. Dead and buried. We got problems though. That's not over. The dumb son of a bitch is still in power. So he's going to be used to create havoc. And man, I hope we don't see a nuclear bomb. But if it was ever going to happen, now's the time. Angry Tiger, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Angry Tigers Den. You can find me on Rumble, Angry Tigers Den. But I want you to find me Saturday nights, the most of all, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Bring your big bottoms down and shake your booties to the ground with Tiger Tales, where we do requests for you guys, and you don't think about any of this garbage, this shit that goes into us, and have some fun. But every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. for financial commentary and uplifting, positive guests and solutions and self-help and dogs and lots of fun on Wednesday nights. So God bless everybody. Keep loving your hearts. Guard your soul, as Karen Carpenter said in the chat. And thanks, Billy. It was an honor, man.
Thank you, buddy. Guard Goldsmith, how are you? Tell the people where they can find you and your fantastic show.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you both. And God bless everybody in the audience. So many good people. It's Liberty Conspiracy, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Rumble and on my X, which is @GuardGoldsmith. And if you go to the Liberty Conspiracy Rumble channel, you'll see breakout segments that are put out almost every day. We just put another one out this weekend, 2 out this weekend that are derived from the show on separate subjects. And then also the former Star Trek Writing Fellow channel from my time at Star Trek and the Outer Limits and the script departments. So there's a channel over at YouTube, and that's all about fiction. And we're going to start talking about the backstories to different TV shows and how they got made and things. And our first one is going to be Hawaii Five-0. So go to former Star Trek Writing Fellow. That's on YouTube or on Rumble. And @Guard Goldsmith on X. And my Substack, of course. It's Gardner Goldsmith Substack. We just put out the Sunday News Assembly. That's free every Sunday at the Gardner Goldsmith Substack. And then Monday through Friday, We do special daily news bulletins and expanded analysis of things for the small cadre of folks who are nice enough to support it. So
Fantastic. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. This is the Gorilla Underground. Thank you for tuning in. Go subscribe to Gorilla Underground on YouTube. Just look it up, Gorilla Underground. You will see us and subscribe. Thank you so much. And for all the new subscribers, people that just stumbled onto the channel, we appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your support. Everybody over at Rumble, it's our first time streaming over there. What's up to all of you guys? Thank you for tuning in. We have a nice little crowd here, about 80 people across platforms and about 30 people over at Rumble, so it's over 100. Thank you so much to all of you, everybody in the chat. Karen Carpenter, thank you for tuning in and lending your support. Ashley's in the chat. Thank you. I know Ashley could be doing a ton of other things. She probably is actually doing a ton of other things right now while she's listening. But thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Twisted is in the chat, trolling as usual. What's up, Twisted? How you doing? My man Dustin Helms, what's going on with you? My man Thomas Clayton, what's up, Thomas? How you doing? Good to see you. See, there was others that I want to get to before I get out of here. Let me scroll a little bit. If I see them, I'll get to them. I know there were more, but
Garrett was in there.
What's up, Garrett? He had a great comment about Doge. And Tinfoil Hat Girl was in the chat also. What's up? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, but he received his Doge check. You know, and I want to know, you can't make an announcement like that, Garrett, you know, and not tell us, not fill us all in on how you got your Doge check. I want my Doge check. Guard wants his Doge check. And
I know. You got to have, do you need incriminating photos of Elon Musk or something? What's going on?
I needed to buy gas, man.
Yeah.
And he said it was a bigly amount. He wouldn't tell us what the amount was, but he said it was bigly. Listen,
that was hilarious.
I need some money, bro. Like, I mean, it's the Titanic is sinking. Give me a life jacket, bro. Like, come on, hook me up. Thank you for tuning in, Garrett. All right, man. Let's get up out of here. Guard Goldsmith. What are we playing?
Hey man, anything. I love it when you open with Muse and Sign of the Times, but you got so many things of great taste, man. And anything you want to play is awesome. You know,
I do have great taste in music, if I may say so myself.
No, big time, man.
But so do you, Mr. Goldsmith. And Angry Tiger knows a thing or two about music. Angry Tiger was here in New York, you know, with leather pants and all that stuff during the freestyle days. I don't know if he wore leather pants. I'm making that up.
I never wore leather pants, man.
Over here playing freestyle music with the Puerto Ricans and the rest of the Italians. You know, that's what he was doing.
Couple paint buckets just slamming them on the sidewalk, man.
And breakdancing, you forgot.
Yeah, we were locking and popping with the best of them, man.
Yeah, that's what you guys were up to. But let me see. What do we play out, man? Like hit me up with something. I don't know. I'm looking at stuff right now, and it's a lot of hip hop. I've been into a lot of hip hop lately.
Yeah,
I don't feel like playing hip hop.
Into a lot recently. By the way, I'm going to mention again. I have tickets for the 50th anniversary of The Damned at Wembley Arena.
You gotta go.
I can't.
What are
I
you
can't
doing,
afford
Guard?
the ticket. I can't fly out. I've been too
Why not?
sick. Oh. It's a lesson in life where I say, you know what? Maybe it's a greater lesson that God's teaching me, that I've gotten to know some of the guys in The Damned. I'm friendly with them, and if I miss this event, it's a message that's a greater message, maybe. You know. So
well, let's try to get it done, Guard. Let's talk about it. Let's see what develops, man. I'm gonna play one of my favorite. There's 3 bands, and I've seen many, not like Guard Goldsmith, but I've seen many bands in my lifetime. What's up, Guard?
No, I'm just thinking about some of the bands that I know you love so much that you've seen many times.
So there are 3 bands in my Mount Rushmore of live performances. I don't know who the 4th would be, but the 3, of course, it's Rage Against the Machine. Right? It's the greatest live band I've ever seen in my life. 9 Inch Nails, incredible live band. I saw them on their a couple of months ago. I saw them and they were pretty good. They weren't as great as I'd seen them before, but they were pretty good. And The Prodigy from the UK.
Prodigy.
If you ever get a chance to go see The Prodigy, I don't know if you're into that type of shit, but they're touring now. I know Keith Flint passed away a few years ago, but they're back and they are fantastic. I flew out to San Francisco in last April to go see them. It's going to be a year now. Feels like it was yesterday, but I was like, oh my God, they're here. I'm like, I'm going. So I went. I'm gonna close with the Prodigy. Because I love them. The song's called Poison. Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys next week. Tune in. I got the remedy.